let's start over here. Basically, I look at this setup here as like, I look at it like it's almost like a sound system. I could treat it and I look at it certain ways, and I can look at it like it's a synth in a sense, so of a sonic tone. So for example, the way I have this set up here, I'll give you the chain right here. I have a Shure wireless system. It comes out of here, and then it goes out of my wireless system into the Sans amp. And then from this point here, I have things that, let's just say, more tonal. A Sans amp, a bass synth. I have the source audio, which I just got that the other day. I'll just explain some stuff before I play through it. So I got like this, let's just say my noisier stuff over here, which is more like distortions or drivers or some sort of synth or whatever. That takes place in this quadrant right here. So Sans amp. If I want some distortion, I might hit that. I have the distortion where I can get 3 different distortions coming out of octave, fuzz, and overdrive, and I can combine all 3. So I have that here. Then I move to my bendier stuff. Whammy pedal, wah-wah pedal, so I can bend the notes up and stuff like that. Then after I'm finished bending, I want to be able to phase or filter or flange or stuff like that. So I do that whole processing part here. And then I go back into like these other filters of like bass filters, like an envelope filter or synth wah envelope filters and stuff like that. So I have the the noisier stuff here, distortions here, wobbly stuff, wah-wahs and whammies, phasers and flangers, ringworms and stuff like that. Then it goes into a delay scenario. Like for example, I break out a lot of old pedals, things that don't even happen, you don't even see anymore. Like this is an old digital sample, and I might use it for one thing, just to sample one note. And people slept in this pedal. And, a lot of times when pedals come out, things were advancing at that time. So I was like, that's a great pedal. So because I can go. So I figured out just ways how to, certain pedals have a certain sound. I use that pedal for that vibe. So now I'm into my delays and stuff. So I got a delay set up here. I got a little sampler, and I got a delay where I can go like. So I'm using certain pedals. I'll find a certain effect that I like, and I'll use it for that. So I like this sampler because I can hit one note. It's only like 800 milliseconds, but now I can make it come to life by hitting it and then holding it. So I like stuff like that because I can go. So I like pedals that speak and have knobs, because if it has knobs, I have fingers, I can use it. So I try to stay away from anything too preset, because every gig and every place you go to is going to be different air, different stage, different wood, and bass translates much different than the guitar. Guitar, you can play a couple notes, you can hear the bass. That's not going to happen. You can't even, it's going to get overshadowed by the drums and high-end stuff. So I found ways how to simply pop holes against dense sound. And what I do for that is just like, for example, I have a device called the slicer, which is great. So let's say Vernon or Will are blasting away and they're going bananas. So I'll start chopping in between the notes so it's popping and pulsing it out. So while they're going crazy, I'm just going to pulse it and just give you simple pulse. And people aren't used to hearing that sound coming from a bass. They don't know where it's coming from. By the time they even figure out where it's coming from, I've already turned the pedal off. So I play peekaboo with the effects. Nothing's on all the time. So distortions, wobbly whammy, flangers, phasers, ringworm, which is a great pedal. And it's how one pedal feeds another pedal, right? So then I have a Eventide harmonizer, which I love, and this has been one of my treats lately. I'll do stuff like. Then I'll start adding other stuff. So you start to get all these different beautiful. I just use dynamics and frequencies and ranges to be able to express what's going on. So whammy pedal. Let's go through some of these pedals real quick, and I'll make it. One of my favorite pedals is the whammy pedal. So you can do stuff like that with that because it's kind of really cool. Like the whammy, I just got this source on it. And it's how the pedals work with each other. So if I'm using a whammy with distortion, so I can get guitar sounds quite simple with just simple distortion on it. I've been experimenting with this mothership pedal. I think I'm probably one of the only ones that ain't made any sense with this damn thing yet. So these are a little noisier stuff, but then like a wah-wah is really good for like this. So I like stuff like that just for expression.
What kind of wah is that?
That's a Dunlop wah-wah.
So a regular crybaby?
Yeah, regular crybaby. Then I like the flanges, which is good for. Stuff like that. So you can it just colors it up a little bit. Envelope filter, an old DOD envelope filter. They don't even make these anymore, but these are great. I like it because I can get a subsonic super low end. My technique is I don't even let I play very light, so I'm not getting the envelope. I'm just getting the frequency of it. Those are the only pedals in the world that give you that frequency. You can look all over the place, $25. You can spend $4,000, $25 if you can find it online. Another one discontinued, the synth wah. This one always gets people's attention. So if we're at a gig and people are falling asleep, I hit that pedal. Then I'll combine. So it's just understanding the frequencies of what's going on. Other pedals here that I use, I love this ringworm. Now when I put the slicer on it, so my whole thing is space. I like space. I like this, the space between the notes. It's the shape of the notes that defines the player. One of the latest devices I have is this Infinity Looper, which is by Pigtronics. And what I really like about this is it's a device that enables you to actually loop not just in any one particular, like, okay, we got to do a 4-bar loop or 8-bar loop. I can actually loop 32 bars and then have another loop going for 4 bars and stuff like that, which is really good. And what I really like this device is I have it at the end of my chain. So I look at this as almost like a little booster station at the end. By the time I have all these cables coming through here, which I try to keep cool, I boost it up a little bit like a relay station, like a power station. So I'm able to add a little more juice at the back end here, and then so everything's going straight and hot to the DIs. And then I'm using these Keith McMillan 12-step pedals, soft step, fantastic. I'm able to run samples and sounds from my laptop, and I have Pro Tools running here. And I'm actually running a program called Sculpture, I believe. And what it does is it's an onboard sampler. So I'm running the Pro Tools program, but there's no sound going in. I'm just using the plugins and stuff like that, just to be able to use it for the sampler and stuff. So I pimped this. I found a way to pimp this out a little bit, but it's good, you know. And like I said, I'm the effect.